Good morning and welcome back, everyone, to the Real Estate Tailgate. I'm Mike Mitchell, along here with my partner, David Underwood from Top Flight Financial. What's going on, David?
Not a much, man. Not a much. I guess we're here at episode numero ocho.
Numero ocho. Wow. ESPN the Ocho. That's what that reminded me of. Dodgeball.
8 episodes. You guys have been killing it. Just absolutely been killing
That's crazy.
it.
Already, yeah.
Getting a lot of likes, a lot of subscribes.
Yeah.
Getting some good hits. So thank you, everyone out there that's listening.
Very, very much appreciated.
And big news, we are, if you haven't heard, we're now on Spotify. So
Yeah, you are.
check us out on Spotify.
Yes, Spotify, the Real Estate Tailgate.
The Real Estate Tailgate. Yep.
Follow that, and you'll see all things. This is Walter, by the way, their producer. What's up? You'll see all things Real Estate Tailgates, and you will get the full episodes, and also in video format too, because Spotify updated their platform probably about a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago, to where now you can upload video. So
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
Yep.
I thought it was audio only.
I didn't either.
Yep. It's been all video for a little while now. So yeah. So all the video episodes are on there.
Great. So when you got your earbuds in, dial up our podcast and check us out.
That's right. Do it up.
So what's been going on there, Mike?
Oh, not much. End of May here. We're almost into June.
Yeah, we're in the heat of baseball season, right?
Baseball, hot dogs.
Yeah. Tigers are doing so-so. They came out beginning of the season hot, right? Mm-hmm. And they cooled off.
They've been up and down. They've been a roller
Yeah,
coaster.
they've been up and down, but we were talking about this a little earlier. They're on a little mini winning streak, which everyone's tying to the new blue. I think they call them the Motor City Connect jerseys.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
The controversial jerseys. Yeah.
I think that
Or
they
uniforms, because it's got a new hat too.
Yeah,
Whole new uniform.
I think they've won 3 in a row, and they have a doubleheader today. So
It's funny that people link that to that. Remember they were blaming the Red Wings losing skid on that patch they had in their jersey.
yep. Yeah, I think they lost 7 in a row or something before they broke.
What do you think of those new jerseys?
I think the colors are pretty cool. I don't like the fact that I don't know if you've ever looked at them, but they don't have the Old English D on.
No,
No, they don't.
So I love the Old English D.
Yeah.
And I'm a little traditional. So
I know a lot of people hate them, but I don't hate them. I don't know. I'm not crazy about them, but I don't hate them.
I'm not crazy.
Maybe they're
about
growing
them.
on me. Maybe that's it.
yeah, well, I don't love them, but I think they're cool. They're a nice change. But the biggest thing I don't like is the fact that the English D is missing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people hate them.
Yeah.
They don't, because you don't either say, do you like them or you hate them? I hate them. They don't say why, but I think that Old English D, man, is, I don't know. I think that's where it's at. But that's just my opinion. And I'm just a fan.
As we all are.
Yeah. But, I thought I'd mention that. And then I know you're not a big round ball. You're not a big basketball fan. I mean, as far as
college basketball. No, I like college basketball. I don't really watch the pros. I know the Celtics won the other day.
Yep.
So they're going to the finals, right?
Yep. They've.
And I don't know who they're going against. Do you? I have no clue.
Well,
I don't follow the NBA very much at all.
Yeah, they actually did a sweep. Boston did a sweep, so they're waiting. And then last night, I think Dallas was up 3-0, but they lost. So there's going to be a game 5 in that series. So it was almost 2 sweeps on both sides. Mm-hmm. But you got to wait a little bit longer. And I haven't really been that much into it. I mean, I love the Pistons, even though they have been disappointing. Yeah. I almost used a different word there. But
yeah.
They've been disappointing in recent years. So hopefully they can only get better. And then we have hockey.
Yep.
We have the Stanley Cup playoffs going on.
Yes, we do. They're
And there's still
the Rangers and the Panthers are battling it out.
Yeah, and there's
I
still
think
a
they're tied
Canadian
at 2-2.
team. There's still a Canadian team alive, right?
Yep. Edmonton.
So,
okay.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, there hasn't been.
Edmonton and Dallas. So
I don't even know the stat, but it's been many, many years since there's been a Canadian team in the actual finals in the Stanley Cup finals.
I know the Rangers, not a Canadian team, but an original 6 team, New York Rangers, haven't been to the Stanley Cup since '93.
Oh wow.
93 or 94 or something like that. So it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Oh yeah.
That's a long time.
That's 30 years.
I think that's right. It was 30 years, so it was 94. Yeah.
God, man.
So yeah, there's been some really good playoff hockey on.
Wow, that is a long time ago. My youngest son was born in '93.
Yeah. Okay. So 90.
He just turned 31.
Yeah, 93. I would have been 4. It's crazy. So crazy.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
It's I feel
So yeah, so there's always stuff going on in the sports world. And then in regards to probably our favorite sport, football,
Yes.
NFL. Well, besides the NFL, I probably brought this up before, but we've got that spring league, the
Yes,
UFL's
yeah,
going on,
we
and
talked about that.
the Michigan Panthers are still jamming. They've already secured a spot in the playoffs.
I heard that. I haven't watched any though.
Yeah, so be interesting to see what they do. I've caught some bits and pieces of some of the games, because they're just always on the weekend. So I might have the TV on in the background or something, and see part of the games, whether it's Michigan or not. But I haven't sat down just grabbed a beer and watched the game. I've just had it on. But as usual every year, I mean, we're slowly gearing up for the big league coming up, right?
Yep. Everyone's talking about baseball season. I'm just sitting here waiting for the NFL to start. There was a meme like that I saw.
Well, it was like what Professor Underwood said the last time. He's like, I think the reason why Mitchell loves summer so much is because it's the season right before fall.
Yep.
So that's great.
In summer, I was at the St. Clair Shore Social District, so it was a beautiful night, jam packed.
Yeah,
so
did
a
you
lot
see
of people are out. I did
firework
see
drone?
The drone show was pretty cool. Yeah, I saw that. And since our producer is so active today in our show, I got to give him a shout out. He's got a gig coming up on June 13th, Thursday evening, at the St. Clair Shores Farmers Market at Blossom Heath. Mm-hmm. His band's going to be playing there, so stop by, check him out, grab a beer. And yours truly is sponsoring the beer mug. So grab a Mike Mitchell beer mug and check out the Camp Counselors band.
That's right. Good beer, good mugs, good live music.
Let's hope for good weather.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I'll be there. I'll be there to check you guys out. And
oh yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna be in like a half shell type of
the
stage.
trailer thing.
Yeah. So even if it does drizzle a little, we'll have some coverage and shade, so that all is not lost.
Yeah, I'm glad you gave a shout out to Walter Hooper.
Hooper.
I call him the Dr. Hooper, but in case you all out there don't know, Walter is a very good musician and singer, and plays in a band and also does some solo stuff, which I actually just saw him here within the last week.
Oh yeah, you saw that was on Friday.
Was that Friday?
That was Friday.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd make it out there, but he was doing a little solo gig at a brewery, a local brewery.
J-Max Brewery.
Shout out to J-Max.
Shout out to J-Max and the J-Mexico.
And I happened to stop in there with the missus and checked out his last set. Had time just to have a nice cold one and listen to some good tunes, and he always delivers.
Well, I appreciate you and making it out there, and it was nice to finally meet the missus.
Yeah.
So, you guys are awesome, so I appreciate you.
So, Mike, what is going on in the real estate world, my friend?
It's busy, man. It's going. It's just like every year, Still low inventory, but houses are selling. Buyers are out there looking and bidding. Every weekend I'm out showing homes pretty much. That's pretty much my summer for the weekends, but that's what I do. So, and I know I've been talking to you and you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I know you work late hours.
Yeah. I mean, just work when we have to.
Yep.
And when we can. As far as on the financing side, what's that question you always ask me?
What are the rates?
Yeah. What are the rates? And what has been my answer, which is still the same answer? I mean, the rates are the rates. I mean,
and you know what? I got some info. I heard in the news that the Fed, they canceled the rate drop. They were supposed to drop. I just saw it in the news yesterday morning. They were supposed to, or they were scheduled to, and they canceled it. They said they're not going to do it this summer at all. It was on Fox Business News.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's out there. I mean, once again, we're in May, right?
Yeah.
So things are always changing. In the beginning of the year, or actually before the beginning of the year, we thought that the Fed would probably do a rate drop as soon as March. But as we got into the year, we quickly determined with the data coming out, and this is all of the economic data, that probably wasn't going to happen, that it might happen in June.
What I heard they said it is not. That's what they said.
Well, and then, I did hear a blurb that they were saying now that there may not be any kind of a rate cut this year at all. But that's not set in stone. And
right, anything can happen.
Yeah, I'm still hearing talk that there may still be something before the end of the year. The thing is that the Fed doesn't meet every month. I think the Fed meets 8 times a year. I'm not exactly sure on that. My brain's getting a little bit old, along with my body. But but anyway, I think the Fed meets 8 times a year. So there's 8 times when they're going to meet and announce a cut. And, we're almost halfway through the year. We haven't done anything yet. So it's becoming more and more likely that the chances are slim that they're going to do something.
Right.
Yeah. So, but once again, but rates did come down because, see, the economic data has gotten a little bit better, just basically saying that inflation has slowed down. It's starting to slow down. We're seeing more and more signs of it. So interest rates have ticked down a tad bit, but they've been seesawing anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, that's the long answer to what's going on with rates. I mean, they're basically seesawing. They're about the same. They're doing the same thing. They're going to do the same thing probably, unless something really drastic happens, and we don't see that.
They're going to stay the same throughout the year. Up and down, like you said, but...
Yeah. But I'll tell you what is important. Rates really, it's not that they're not important, but rates are the rates, okay? You're going to get whatever rates available when you get any kind of financing, okay? When you go get a car loan, whatever the rates are. When you apply for a credit card, whatever the rates are, you're at the mercy of what the rates are, okay? Unfortunately, it's nothing you can really negotiate. One of the things about a mortgage is you can kind of negotiate. I'm not going to get deep into it, but you can pay points. You can buy the rate down. Yeah, you can buy the rate down. I guess that's a form of negotiation.
Are you seeing many of that? Are you seeing many people do that?
No, in most cases, because it's probably not worth it in most cases. The reason I say that is because we're probably at the height of rates. So, now don't get me wrong. There's going to be someone out there listening that's going to say, we see buy downs all the time. Well, yeah, there's some strategic things you can do using a buy down. You could have the seller pay points to help you buy a rate down if you're a buyer. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do when it comes to mortgages. But someone just paying points in most cases, rates are probably going to come down. So, whenever you do any kind of financing, there's costs involved. And, you got to look at how much you're spending versus what we call like a break-even point. So, once again, I'm not going to get all into that right now, but...
Is it worth it in the long run?
Is it worth it in the long run
to pay the money
to
buy the point? Yeah.
So it depends on the situation. In most cases, it's not worth it now.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But what is important is the type of loan that you're going to use when you go to buy a house.
And there's many types.
And there are.
That's what we're going to talk about, right?
Yeah, we're going to touch on that a little bit.
We're going to help out our self-employed, entrepreneur, tip workers.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Because they have options. A lot of times people think they can't buy a house because they're self-employed. Yeah. Or they're waitress or bartenders working on tips, and that's not true.
You hit the nail on the head, man.
Or real estate agents, right? Because real estate agents used to be hard to get pre-approved.
Yeah, it's because they're self-employed, right? I mean, so I'm going to touch on that a little bit, okay?
Let's do it.
We're not trying to have a real long show today, but I want to touch on that because people need to know if they don't know, because you know what they say, you don't know what you don't know. People need to know that there are options out there. So I'm going to start off by talking about what we call traditional loans. I use the term traditional. I think that makes sense to most people. There is a technical term called a qualified mortgage. That's a title that was basically given, by an entity that the government has. It's called the CFPB. You might have heard or seen that in print somewhere. The CFPB. What's the CFPB? That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I think I got that right.
Sounds right.
It's an entity that kind of is supposed to help protect consumers, basically. And mortgages have been used throughout history. Mortgages, mortgage loans, and real estate, and a lot of people don't know this, but have been used for a lot of fraud and money laundering. So there's a very, very strong, watchful eye in the mortgage and real estate industry.
Yeah.
That's why when you are doing any kind of real estate transactions and you're getting a mortgage loan, you want to make sure you're working with licensed professionals, because we're all licensed and regulated, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
So anyway, qualified mortgage is your traditional loans. Okay, we probably mentioned this before. You might have heard of these terms before. A conventional mortgage, an FHA mortgage, a VA mortgage loan.
Those are all qualified.
They're traditional
mortgages. Yeah,
and they basically meet criteria. Those loans meet criteria set by the CFPB as regular good loans. Okay. Now,
so what's a non-qualified loan?
A non-qualified loan, or you might hear the term non-QM. I call them non-traditional.
I think I've heard non-QM. Yep.
But yeah, you might have heard a non-QM. That just means a non-qualified mortgage. It doesn't mean it's a bad mortgage. In a nutshell, basically, it's a way to give a loan, or it's a type of loan that doesn't follow the rules of being a qualified mortgage. It's an alternative way to look at someone as a borrower, and looking at their income and their assets and qualifying them in a different way. Okay? So you're saying, damn, Dave, what the heck are you talking about? Well, let me give you some examples. Okay? And I just want to, like Mike said, we just want to bring this up because there's a lot of self-employed people out there that for whatever reason, the way they have their income the way they show their income on paper. In other words, maybe to the IRS when they file their taxes, they may not show really all of their income. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, one of the advantages of being self-employed or an entrepreneur is that, you can write stuff off, for example, right?
Yep.
So if you're making X amount of dollars, and that is your revenue coming in, no matter what kind of a business you have, but you're writing off things because you have expenses and whatnot for your business, and that's your Y. So you take X minus Y equals Z, and Z is your net income. Well, your net income might be lower because you might be writing off more things, or you might have a new business.
Legitimate write-offs.
Legitimate write-offs, yeah.
So sometimes you got to watch how much you write off.
Right. But you still might be living well. You can afford your car payment. You pay your bills on time. But when you put it all down on paper, it might not look like, you really make as much. And once again, I'm just trying to summarize what I'm talking about. So I don't want to get too much in detail.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for those folks, if you were to go to get a traditional or qualified mortgage, what would happen is we as mortgage professionals, we're going to ask for your pay stubs. We're going to ask for your W-2s. We're going to ask for your tax returns. Because being self-employed, you probably don't pay. You might not pay yourself. You might not get pay stubs. But we're going to look at your tax returns. So when we look at that and we see how much money you actually made, it might not be enough to qualify for a home at all, or for the type of home that you want or that you can afford. So a non-qualified mortgage, what we do is we look at your income a different way. An example would be, and this is a real popular route for some clients to go, would be like a bank statement program. So, as a business owner, you probably have a business bank account, maybe your personal bank account you're running money through, depending on how you're set up. But you have that money going through the bank. It's cash flow. So what we basically do in a nutshell is we look at your bank statements. We'll look at maybe 12 months of bank statements, and we'll look at all that money that's coming in the bank. And we know there's going to be expenses, so we'll use like a factor. And there's different flavors of a bank statement program. But the gist is that we'll look at income, and then we subtract a factor, and we use that as your income instead of what you really file at the end of the year. Because once again, if you're self-employed and you're not getting pay stubs, the only real record you have is at the end of the year.
Now, does this apply to like waitresses, bartenders too, who work mostly off of tips? A lot of times they get when I know they get paid, but it's a small amount, and most of their income's off of tips.
That's a great question.
So would they qualify for this?
Some bank statement programs would allow those type of employees to use a bank statement type program. Okay, now. Being a tipped, I'll just use that as an example since you brought that up. A tipped employee, might be able to get a traditional loan, might be able to get a qualified mortgage, okay? But they have to have a history, okay? Let's say someone just started working a job where they got tips 6 months ago. They've never made tips before in the past. It might be tough to get a qualified mortgage because we usually like to see a history.
But if they're doing it for 2 years...
They're doing it for 2 years, that's usually the mark that we look at.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some cases a little bit less than that if we're close to 2 years, but in most cases we want about 2 years of history. Same thing with someone that might receive a 1099, okay? Someone that was working maybe in a factory getting W-2 work. They were getting a regular paycheck. They were getting W-2s, but then they switched jobs, okay? And now they're working as a contractor. They're working for maybe an employer that is contracting them, paying them 1099 income. If they just started that, okay, it might be tough to get a qualified mortgage because W-2 versus 1099, we look at totally different. 1099, we look at more as like self-employed.
Right.
So once again, you want the history, okay?
So let me ask you this. On a non-QM, the non-qualified one you were talking about prior, what kind of down payment do you need on those?
Great question. Usually you're going to need a little bit more of a down payment that you might need with a qualified mortgage. And what I mean by that is with a qualified mortgage, there's programs out there with
3, 5,
yeah, and 0. All right. If you're a veteran,
right,
and you have a VA benefit, you can buy a home with no money down. Same thing with a loan called a USDA RD, or Rural Development Loan. If you're buying an RD eligible home, no money down. Okay. But with the non-QM loans, in most cases, you're probably going to be putting 20% down.
Okay, so you can't even get a 10.
There are some 10. I said in most cases.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 10, 15, 20, but usually you're not going to be getting 3 and 5% down.
No, I didn't think you would.
Yeah, and there's a couple of reasons I wanted to bring this up today. First of all, I just wanted to let people know there's programs out there, and I'm going to name off a couple other programs, and I'll get to the second point as to why I wanted to bring this up.
Do it.
I mentioned the bank statement program. There's other ways, other types of programs that we can do, and other lenders that do non-QM loans. They don't all do the exact same thing, but just to give you an example of what may be out there, there's loans that will look just at your P&L. Okay, now there's more to it than that. Once again, we're trying to keep the show from going hours and hours, but keep that in mind. A P&L only loan, a 1099, where we will actually look at your 1099s.
For those that don't know, that's profit and loss.
Yeah, P&L. I'm sorry, P&L profit and loss. Thank you, Mike. There are programs non-QM where you might do what's called full documentation. You might get W-2s, you might have pay stubs, but you might have something else going on that won't allow you to go qualified. A good example would be maybe 1 year out of a bankruptcy.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Normally, you need a couple years out of a bankruptcy to get a qualified type of loan. But with a non-QM loan, there are programs that will do 1 year out of bankruptcy and sometimes even less time. Okay? Once again,
and that's the cool thing about you and your company is you have a lot of different products like that. You can.
Oh yeah.
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 Not just.
Yeah. I mean, we like a lot of lenders, they have a wide menu of products, and we do as well. I think we're set up where we have a real strong menu. We probably have so many different products. I don't even use all of them, but I know that they're there if I do need to.
Right.
Your
bag of tricks.
Exactly.
Reach deep down into that bag of tricks.
Yeah. Now another type of non-qualified mortgage that is very popular for investors would be what's known as a DSCR loan.
A what?
Yep, DSCR. DSCR, debt service. In other words, we look at your debt service ratio as an investor. We look at the income coming in on that property. Usually as an investor, you're buying a home to rent. Okay, you're going to buy it and you're going to rent it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. There's other type of investor loans.
So you're saying you can use rental income?
Well,
with that loan. Yeah.
I mean, once again, not to spend a whole lot of time on it, but we're basically going to say, hey, you're buying this house as an investor. We're going to look at, in most cases, how experienced you are as an investor. Okay, like if you're a first-time investor, it's not that we won't give you the loan, but you're going to be considered a higher risk than someone that has proof that they're a seasoned investor, right?
Right.
So someone that's an investor could buy a home. If they're buying a home in a community where the market rent is $1,300 a month for that type of home, if their payment in most cases is going to be, if their mortgage payment on the loan is going to be less than the $1,300, then bingo, we're good to go. Okay. Now, this, once again, that's a quick summary. Okay. So in other words, we're not looking at any income at all. We're not looking at your income. Okay. We're just looking at the property's income. But once again, that's a totally different type of loan, and it's nothing that as a first-time buyer you're going to use. This is an investor-specific type of loan.
But there are options out there for people.
There are options out there, okay? So that's the point. The first point I want to bring up is just to let people know that there's different options, and that's why if you're thinking about buying a home or thinking about buying an investment property, get with a good mortgage professional. Have those conversations, okay? And learn, because like I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, Okay?
I like that.
Second point, very important. If you're going to buy a home, I already mentioned that you need to work with some good professionals. That includes an awesome real estate agent that's licensed. Like, for example, Mike Mitchell of Key Realty, Berkshire Hathaway.
Appreciate that.
You know, your realtor does a lot of things for you. And one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to help you put in an offer, help negotiate the offer. And so they need to be in tune with what type of financing you're using. And that's why it's very important that you get with a good realtor, and that your realtor has time to get with your mortgage professional to learn about what you're using. You know, are you using a non-QM loan? You know, are you using down payment assistance?
Very important information. Yes, I need to know that.
Exactly.
Very
exactly.
important. Yep.
Because they need to know how to write it up, and they're involved in your strategy. And you know what? I just would probably mention that a lot of non-QM borrowers, when it comes to an offer, a written purchase offer, a lot of times they can look pretty strong on paper because they usually have the money for the down payment, for a larger down payment, and they usually have money, for a larger EMD, which we talked about, right? We've talked about that on a previous episode, your earnest money deposit. So, those are the main reasons why I wanted to bring up the non-QM. And, for more information, reach out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, and I'd be more than glad to set up a time to chat and educate you some more, or maybe take a look at your situation to see what you might qualify for in financing.
Yep. Like I said, there are options out there. So, and I know there's a lot of self-employed people now for whatever reason. It seems like it. A lot of, like you said, side hustles.
Yeah, that's what
entrepreneurs.
Kind of, well,
it just seems like more than there used to be, right?
Well, yeah, but that's why I wanted to kind of bring it up. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So there are options for these people out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for.
Me too. I love the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yep, for our country. But there's a lot more entrepreneur, self-employed people, and just what I call hustlers. There's hustlers out there. I mean, I've got a client right now that I'm working with that drives for Amazon. He contracts to Amazon, but he also does Uber. Okay, he's hustling. He's been doing both gigs for several years. He has
probably making bank.
He's making some bank. I mean, but he's serious about his job.
Yeah,
that's his job. And, I just want to throw that out there. So, once again, he's consistent. He's been doing it for years. He has the income coming in. He's going to buy a house. And
awesome.
Yeah, he's going to buy a house. And, probably, 15 years ago, it would have been tough for him unless he had all of his ducks in a row showing income on paper, enough income to qualify, because he doesn't show enough income on paper to qualify for the type of home that he's trying to buy. But once again, we're going to use non-QM to help this guy out. So once again, any questions, reach out.
Where can they find you at?
Best way to reach me, Dave Underwood, Top Flight Financial. Call or text 248-219-3457. And you, Mike?
You can find me on the web, mikemitchell.realtor. Call or text 586-291-2652. Don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Check us out on Spotify. And I think that's a wrap for the Ocho. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
The Ocho's in the books.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I believe it's the next episode 9. I think we got
breaking news.
Breaking news. Expect surprise guests.
Yeah, we're gonna have a special guest next time.
Special guest time. So we're looking forward to that, and hope you can join us on.
Have a great week, everyone.
Take care.